Teacher in one of those two classrooms in that Uvalde elementary school, the teacher who survived the horror, telling our Amy Robb the moment he saw the gunman, how he told the children in his classroom to get under their desks, to pretend they were asleep, and the child he heard pleading with the police that they could hear in the hallway to help them. Mr. Reyes was the teacher in room 111. They were watching a movie when the shooting broke out. The children asking him, "What is that they hear?" Law enforcement gathering outside, some in the hallways, that child asking police to help them. And of course, we know of at least 2 children from those 2 rooms calling 911, telling dispatchers to send help. There were 11 students in his classroom alone. None of them survived. And today, 9-year-old Ellie Garcia was laid to rest. She would have just turned 10. This account tonight from the teacher who survived is harrowing, it is difficult, and once again, it is a portrait of what those children were going through as they called for help. Tonight here, the Amy Robb interview and our Matt Gutman leading us off from Texas.
Guy with a rifle.
Tonight, for the first time, we're hearing chilling details from a teacher who was wounded but survived the carnage in room 111, one of those 2 adjacent classrooms at Robb Elementary. Arnulfo Reyes was watching a movie with his 11 students when the shots rang out, bullets hitting the building. He spoke with our Amy Robb.
The kids started asking out loud, "Mr. Reyes, what is going on?" And I said, "I don't know what's going on, but let's go ahead and get under the table. Get under the table and act like you're asleep." As they were doing that, and I was gathering them under the table and told them to act like they were going to sleep, is about the time when I turned around and saw him standing there.
Almost immediately, the gunman opening fire. 2 bullets hit Reyes, one through his arm and lung, another bullet in his back. He couldn't move. The shooter then turning that long gun on the students. They hear officers outside the classroom. Reyes says he heard a child in the next classroom pleading for police to help. By then, he thinks officers had retreated down the hallway.
One of the students from the next door classroom was saying, "Officer, we're in here. We're in here." But they had already left. And then he got up from behind my desk, and he walked over there and he shot over there again.
The gunman going back into room 112, firing more shots. The teacher says he then heard officers again telling the gunman through the door that they want him to come out, to talk, that they don't want to hurt anybody. A minute later, silence, until Border Patrol finally breached the door. While that horror was unfolding, parents outside begging for police to save the children.
You know that they're kids, right? They're little kids. They don't know how to defend themselves.
And at least 2 students from those connected classrooms were calling 911.
Is there anybody inside of the building? Tyler is advising he is in the room full of victims. At this moment. 8 to 9 children.
When it was over, 11 of Reyes' students were dead. And today, another victim laid to rest, 9-year-old Eliana Ellie Garcia.
She was very happy and very outgoing. Loved to dance and sing and play sports. She was big into family, enjoyed being with the family.
The funerals continue tonight, and Matt joined us now, reporting from the scene again for us this evening. And Matt, this interview, the teacher talking with Amy, so powerful, obviously hearing about that child who was pleading with police that they could hear on the other side of the wall to help them. We also heard from this teacher, Mr. Reyes, something we reported before here, that police at one point tried to talk to the shooter.
Another survivor, David, just 10 years old, told us that she heard law enforcement come down the hallway, maybe up to the door, and ask the shooter to come out to put down his weapon, but that he refused. And that teacher telling us also that he had to play dead for 77 minutes. There were long periods of silence, ultimately punctuated by law enforcement bursting into that classroom and shooting dead that gunman. David.
All right, Matt Gutman leading us off here tonight. Matt, thank you. And of course, tomorrow morning on Good Morning America, much more from that teacher, Arnulfo Reyes. His message to the police officers outside that classroom door and to the parents of his students. Amy's full interview on GMA. It's part of our reporting all day long tomorrow across all of our broadcasts and platforms. A closer look at guns in America. And tomorrow night here, our report on World News Tonight on AR-15 style weapons and how many states can you get them at just the age of 18 all day long tomorrow across all of our broadcasts and platforms. A closer